everywhere you go. They're hiding in places you can't avoid, waiting to take advantage of vulnerability, growing stronger with every passing minute. Indiscriminate attacks on infants, adults, and the elderly. Are we safe? Can we protect ourselves? Or are we adding insult to injury? Who are these silent killers? Take any typical college campus. Thousands of students sharing everything. Computers, desks, cell phones, and germs.
People laid up in the dorms, rolling out of bed, to go to class, not a lot of cleaning going on. People living on their own for the first time, again, not a lot of cleaning going on. So I just think because of the culture and the environment that it just the way people live on a college campus, rush, hurry, that, it would end up being a breeding ground for germs and bacteria, especially just the large number of people.
You're in such close proximity with so many people that you kind of setting yourself up to be exposed to different things.
They're not very clean by nature. That's just what a typical college student is. If you watch any movie, you'll see a 20-year-old apartment. It's messy, has food everywhere, I'm sure. Lots of mold growing and stuff. And, if people aren't aware of these things, they're not going to try to take care of it.
College students are becoming more at risk for serious illness. Is it from harmful bacteria, or is it our chosen lifestyles?
First of all, you have students that are away from home. They don't have mom and dad standing over them, telling them to take care of themselves. They're kind of living in a stressful environment. They're under pressure to get things done, do a lot of studying. They're also out on their own and maybe pulling all-nighters, not eating as well as they should, not getting as much rest as they should. And these things kind of all add up and kind of affect your immune system. And then you're also living in close quarters. You're sharing drinks, you're sharing cigarettes, things like that.
Bacteria, both good and bad, is everywhere. From the steering wheel of your car to a staircase railing. And they're here to stay.
The big deal about bacteria is they're part of our existence. We will never get away from them. You can try and deny them, wipe them off the face of the earth and everything, and you just simply won't. They're going to fill all voids of nature. And so the best thing you can do is realize that an over buildup of these bacteria are a bad thing, whether it be not washing a utensil and allowing the bacteria to grow on it, or being in a dorm-like situation where there's a very large concentration of people and bacteria, which is also not good. So just because you can't see it and it's not there doesn't mean that it's bad, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is a bad thing either.
We wanted to find out what types of bacteria are on surfaces we come in contact with on a daily basis.
There'll be bathroom door handles, okay? It's just because you wash your hands doesn't mean that the person before you did. And so a really common thing, is to take a little extra piece of paper towel and open the door and throw it away going down the hall. Keyboards, it's rare, but you've got hundreds of people using, keyboards and in computer labs and things. But then again, how many times have you been to the computer lab and used it and broken out with something? You haven't, But it's just any place that there are a lot of people coming in constant contact with something that you don't know. If it was your family, you wouldn't worry about it so much. But you're living in, a Northwestern family of 8,000 people.
So we collected samples from areas where students spend much of their time.
Swab back and forth, okay? And of course, being liquid, it helps pick up the bacteria quite a bit. And then we would come in here and reseal this, and we let that incubate for 24 hours. And so whatever surface bacteria there it's got all the nutrients it needs to grow to its maximum benefit. And then after 24 hours, we would take one of our selected medias, like I talked about, and then we would come in here, and then you lift it up like this, and this is just known as, streaking. Okay, now this is not streaking for isolation. And then this is simply labeled, put in the incubator, which is about body temperature, because we were looking for human, bacterial growth. And in 24 hours later, you get the positive plates. This plate is called EMD. Okay, it's our #1 media for detecting intestinal bacteria. You can see that it's got, this is 99% sure that this would be E. coli, okay, and it's described as having a brilliant metallic green sheen.
You might be surprised at what was on this cell phone.
This one is specifically looking for staph, and you can see that it grew all over. So once again, are we covered in bacteria on the outside? Yes, we are.
I am a really clean person. I wash my hands regularly, and I avoid dirty surfaces or clean up straight after. And I was surprised to know that things like that were on my cell phone.
Unnerving as to how this stuff's all. See, I just touched the bench. No telling what's there. It's just not good. You got to wonder, what do we have to do to combat this? Do we spray everything down with Lysol? Do we wipe it all down with a hand wipe or something? It's just, how do you see? Now I'm wiping myself trying to get it all off. What do you do, really? This is very surprising, though, that we have this stuff everywhere on campus.
People are sick all the time, and they don't take care of themselves properly. I'm sure they sneeze and wipe their hands on their desk or their clothes. And so it's very plausible that there's bacteria growing everywhere, and it doesn't surprise me.
So what preventative measures can we take to stay healthy?
There are a lot of things you can do to keep yourself healthy. One thing is the main thing is good hand washing, especially during the cold and flu season. People are indoors more, they're closer together, you have people coughing and sneezing, sneezing into their hands, touching doorknobs. So as much hand washing as you can do without being fanatical about it, but use good common sense. If you're fixing to eat, wash your hands. If you're going to prepare food for somebody, wash your hands. If you've just been around somebody in close proximity sneezing and coughing, wash your hands. One thing that you can do is, instead of sneezing into your hands, sneeze into your sleeve. That way you're not going to transfer those germs to a doorknob.
If you think about it, most people, may spritz down with a little, cleaner, and then may just take, if they don't see anything obvious, you just, wipe the crumbs off, So in the kitchen table, you may see some things you may not. I was surprised to see some of the potential pathogens, since we never run them all the way down, for some of the student laptop tables that we found around campus.
In the end, winning the war against germs comes down to the right balance of cleanliness and willingness to overcome phobias of germ exposure.
The deal with germs is that I do not like them at all. They get you sick, they're nasty, they're always around, but you can't see them, So it's just kind of unnerving to some who are a little OCD about stuff like that there's this hidden danger, that's always prevalent, always around, that you just can't see.
Gonna have to deal with that. They're everywhere, and there's nothing really that we can do to keep them away. But when it comes to the things like that are on my cell phone or my deodorant, that's really gross.
So while I was somewhat surprised that we found those outside a living host, we found them before. We found them in some places that I really wouldn't have expected to find such pronounced numbers. But once again, we exist with them, and people aren't dropping dead and puking their guts out as we speak, So we've got to keep it in perspective that way.